Hello viewers, you're welcome to another beautiful edition of Locker Room and Voice of the People TV. I am Jerry Alpelihai, and we've got a thrilling show for you today. It's all about a countdown to the final of the UEFA Champions League, the biggest club competition in the world. And of course, Inter Milan has already made their way to the final at the Allianz Arena. It's going to be a very interesting one. And of course, last night it was fireworks. We saw 13 goals being plundered. Talking about rich European football, courtesy of Inter Milan versus Barcelona. Will tonight replicate, or would I say come close to what we saw last night? Definitely the same time will tell as Arsenal takes on Paris Saint-Germain at the Parc des Princes. Of course, the honors now lies on the likes of Mikel Arteta and Luis Enrique to do justice to the second leg of the semi-final tonight. That's and more we'll be talking about on the show this lovely afternoon. So much to look forward to. And joining me today, it's Ikechukwu and Maiwa, who joins us virtually to take a look at all we have for you on Locker Room. Ikechukwu, yesterday I said that it's Inter Milan. I don't know, Maiwa, I think Maiwa was on the side of Barcelona. And we both said it's an Inter go all the way to the final. Something just told me that as far as Inter is at home, with what I saw in the first leg, Inter looked like the team with the heart to really make it to the final. And of course, I must also give it to Barcelona. They really gave them a fight. And they really showed pure class in that game.
True. Good evening, our viewers. Good evening to you, Jerry. It's one of those very beautiful games. These sort of games, you don't get to see them every season in the UEFA Champions League. It comes once in a while. In thrilling encounter. Sometimes you just get to see the sort of games in the final. These are the kind of games you say final before final in competitions. And these are sort of also the kind of game you see after this game, you say these guys are most likely going to win this championship. It was a very open-ended game. No team decided to actually lock the game at any point. It was a game of tactics against technicality. It was a high-intense game. And of course, looking at that game, just like the same, it's more like the continuation of what we saw in the first leg. 3-3 it ended, and now 4-3 Inter Milan, all the way to the final. We talked about it yesterday, and we also looked at Inter Milan, fancy their chance, getting the best result. And interestingly, 13 goals scored in this particular tie, 7-6 on aggregate. And you only get to see this sort of scoreline in penalty shootouts. But interestingly, it's Barcelona against a side that is known to be very, very, ruthless in defense. Of course, it is the UEFA Champions League, and surprises are always, one of those things you will not take away from this competition.
All right, I don't know whether Maiwa is with us now. So much to look forward to. And of course, he was on the part of Barcelona. And of course, you understand why. Because Lamine Yamal, the man who supposedly was expected to take Barcelona to the final, but things didn't happen. I knew that somehow they would have a plan for him. And of course, you could not blame Yamal. He gave his all. He did his best. But somehow, Inter Milan looked like the team that needed it the most.
Absolutely. Barcelona came into that game with a very weak defense line. Aside the fact that Barcelona defense is actually weak because of the likes of Alessandro Bari and Duskindo absence, they also have defense line that is quite very young. So these sort of games that they really they're not really exposed to this level. Of course, managing themselves and all of that is quite. Araujo, who is actually one of the most experienced defenders, or arguably the most defensive minded player in that particular team, is actually just coming back from a long injury, so he's really not himself at this point. So going into that particular game, Inter Milan fancied their chance. They took advantage of the fact that yes, these guys are actually, and credit must be given to the Hansi Flick. He's been very, very instrumental, for this Barcelona side. He understands that yes, they have a defensive line that is actually not very experienced. They really do not know what it actually takes to actually play at this highest level. So he makes you of what he had, and of course that high defense line that they play all through this season has really helped these guys to actually cover for their inability to actually be very good one-on-one. Of course, chasing defenders and all of that, reading backlines and other things that come with top defenders. So they just focus on actually trying to ensure that attackers don't even get the chance to actually hit on them or play them one-on-one by actually keeping them offside. And it actually worked, but of course, playing against a very tactical side like Simone Inzaghi's side, Inter Milan, yesterday, really exposed them. Most of those the goals they actually scored Inter Milan actually understood that Barcelona really do not have top defenders. So what they did was actually, Lautaro Martinez and Thuram actually did a lot yesterday by holding on to the ball and, of course, releasing the ball close to the next man. And then Fratesi actually did a very good job with last goal. And, like they say, the rest is history. Inter Milan through to the final. And, of course, expecting Arsenal to do the same today.
All right, the same time will tell. Okay, let's start with the home front, where the head coach of the senior national team of Nigeria, Chelle, is hopeful that Chelsea defender Tosin Adarabioyo will finally take up the option of representing Nigeria after positive talks between them. Tosin has been a target for the senior national team of Nigeria since 2018, but insisted he wants to play for England when he was approached by former coaches Genotro, Jose Pesero, and Austin Eguavon. Chelle, who's searching for more options in defense, spoke with the player's elder brother, Gbolahan, who also doubles as his agent, and per what we exclusively gathered, the talks were positive, with another meeting scheduled for London when the Super Eagles play in the Unity Cup in England. And no quick decision is expected, as the players still need to apply for a switch of nationality from FIFA and also get a Nigerian passport before he can be said to be eligible for the team. And this season, Tosin, who joined Chelsea on a free transfer from Fulham in the summer, has played in 34 games in all competitions, with 20 of the games coming in the English Premier League, where they are pushing for a spot in next season's UEFA Champions League. Tosin is quite a decent defender. He will be a great addition to the Super Eagles. I don't know why it's taking too long for him to make the decision, because with what he's even doing for Chelsea, he will never get a call up to England. Let's just say it the way it is. If he gets a call up to England, maybe just for friendly games and so on and so forth, because take a look at the pecking order of England defenders. Tosin is far, far behind. Taking a look at his form for Chelsea as well.
True. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if these players actually get to sit down to have frank discussion with themselves. Look at their quality. Look at the players they are queuing behind, or the ones that are behind them, or how they fancy their chance to actually make it to the national team call-up. But again, on the flip side, you have to also cut him some slack, knowing that this guy, the only relationship this guy has with Nigeria is perhaps his siblings, right? He does not have any other thing that he can actually look back and say, okay, this is the memory I had growing up. This is what I can actually relate back home to, and all of these sort of things, right? This is one of the reasons why I look at these players who refuse to actually be part of Super Eagles setup. And I understand that, of course, football is not just a game you go into the field to play. You want to go into the pitch knowing that people who people who love you are watching you. I mean, this guy does not really have any emotional tie to Nigeria, so why would he want to put on the shirt of the Super Eagles? But of course, as a footballer, if you can actually move from Manchester City, where you actually cut your teeth, your teeth as an academy player, joining Chelsea, then of course it's easier for you to actually also switch from England to Nigeria. Of course, Nigeria is actually a powerhouse in Africa. You have a very good chance of going to the World Cup with Nigeria. But England, that may never come. Playing for international tournaments may never come. And of course, like you rightly said, if he eventually joins England, right, or perhaps decide to actually get a call up for England, maybe 1 or 2 games, that might just be the end. I don't know if they are actually not looking at the likes of Gabriel Agbolahan. We remember when Agbolahan was actually very, very hot in Aston Villa at that point. Everybody was talking about him, and a lot of persons were saying, "Guy, Agbolahan, this is the best time. Just go join Nigeria, play for Super Eagles, and of course, he enjoy club football right there in England." But of course, he decided to play for England, and the rest is history. What's his pedigree for the national team? How many games did he get? The likes of Jamie Vardy, as good as he is as a player, even at his prime when Leicester City won the league, he really didn't get that the first spot jersey for English national team. So all of these things you look at and then start asking yourself, these players, do they really sit down and have a very frank discussion with themselves and their agent and their family to see their chance for the national team? There's no chance. If the English national team is here to call you at this age, then trust me, with the lots of players, the likes of Deji, who are quite very young, still playing very active, the likes of Maguire, who definitely will always be there, John Stones and co. Come on. I don't know what he's still doing, but I just hope this conversation, ends up him joining the Super Eagles. But I would really like to say this again, right? I don't think it is nice for us to keep begging these guys to come play for the Super Eagles. I think we should work our house out, our house in order, put things in right. It's definitely going to attract the best players across the world who are of Nigerian descent to be part of it. If we keep going after these guys to keep begging them, it tells one thing: we really do not have what it takes. Let's build a structure where top players will come out from here, and then those top players will naturally bring these ones, make these ones to want to be part of it. Just imagine the likes of Lamine Yamal. Let's imagine Lamine Yamal is a Nigerian, and of course he's playing for Barcelona. There's no way a player of Nigerian descent who is abroad will not want to be part of the Super Eagles, at least for the sole purpose of playing with Lamine Yamal. So these are the sort of things we should do. Set up a project that is going to bring the best legs in the next couple of years.
All right, so Mario, we understand is now with us. Okay, maybe we're having a meeting with Yamal and the boys, trying to cheer them on. That's why you're here with us late. And of course, let's talk about the Super Eagles first. Definitely we'll get to the aspect of the Champions League. Tosin Adarabioyo is in the news again. We understand that Chelle has met with his agent, who coincidentally is also his elder brother, about him playing for the Super Eagles. Though the talks were positive, and we heard that when the Unity Cup comes up in London, where he is based, there will also be more talks about him switching to play for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. What's your take on Tosin playing for the Super Eagles eventually, if it happens?
I think like we have established, the strategy for NFF getting a national team for is to rely on foreign-born players. If you look at our current national team setup right now, about 6-7 of those starting for us, are foreign-born Nigerians. Yes, they have every right; they are Nigerians to play, and that's the reason why. But the critical question we should be asking is this: Adarabioyo is 27. He's not even a regular with Chelsea. He didn't cut it. Remember, he started out with Man City. He didn't cut it under a Pep Guardiola. Let's go. And he had to go around everywhere before he started picking up at Fulham, before he made it. Even at Fulham, before because the offer was very attractive. However, he is not good enough to be a regular starter for Chelsea. That I have a problem with. We have always consistently said we don't want players that are not playing regularly for their club to be the mainstay. That's number one. Number two, we have our own peculiar issues. Yes, the way FF is handling things. Sometimes, if you are coming from a place that is well organized, you will not want to be part of an NFF within a MIP. I understand that fact. However, I'm so fed up and I'm so tired of the fact that Nigeria, as a country, we have to start begging these people. It doesn't make any sense. The only reason why we'll be considering Nigeria at the age of 28, he'll be 28 later this year. He'll be 28. At 28 is because his prospect for England is not looking good. That is the reason why he wants to make the switch. We are still made to start chasing him around. I don't think it makes any logical sense. Like Ikechukwu rightly said, house in order. If we put our house in order, we will not need to be chasing around players that consider Nigeria as a second choice. Ikechukwu, this person does not have any tie to Nigeria. He doesn't have any tie to Nigeria. Most of his families they are in the UK. The extended family that might be in Nigeria, I can bet you have not visited them once. Is that the person that we are chasing around to play for us? I've said it consistently, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, it does not make any sense if our strategy to build a national team is to start chasing after people that considers Nigeria as a second choice. Those running our they need to do better so that people who are ready to play for Nigeria are people who are actually genuinely ready to die for Nigeria. Not somebody who considers Nigeria as a second choice.
All right, Nigeria should be considered as a second choice. Talking about the Super Eagles can come in from Mayowa. All right, let's talk about the former coach of the senior national team of Nigeria, Joseph Peseiro, has been sacked as the coach of Egyptian side Zamalek, according to announcements made by the club side. Peseiro was sacked following a string of poor results since he was appointed 3 months ago, and the peak of which was the 2-2 draw against National Bank in their last game, which was the 4th round of final phase of the league championship. And the decision to fire the coach was made a lot easier as his deal doesn't carry a termination clause but is owed 2 months' salary in addition to this month's pay despite his sacking. And his outstanding salary is said to be around a total of $210,000, which is equivalent to 10.5 million Egyptian pounds. And it was discussed between all parties involved before the decision of the pathways was reached after yesterday's meeting. Peseiro gets sacked again. Yet again, yeah.
I mean, for those who saw the last AFCON, right, and how the Super Eagles play, you know that he's actually not that man you can actually rely on, for a major tournament like that. I mean, no disrespect to him as a person, but of course, I don't think Jose Peseiro is a manager who you want to, hand over a big job to. We saw the Super Eagles how we struggled against Equatorial Guinea in our first game. We saw how the team actually managed to in fact, our getting to the final was based off individual brilliance. We've got the quality ahead of every other team in that championship. The game against South Africa really exposed us. I mean, it showed how terrible, Nigeria as a team, was in that particular tournament. And of course, in the final, we were, in fact, we were played off the park by the Ivorians, and then that final was so terrible that, it gave me, this very, very deep reflection about what does the Super Eagles, what does this future hold for the Super Eagles. But of course, here's Jose Peseiro again. Of course, Zamalek is a very big team in Egypt, so you don't toy with this sort of teams. This Zamalek of this world, Al Ahly, these are the face of the Egyptian league. And of course, they will not sit back they will not sit back and swallow bad results, for like 3 months or over 3 months. And I mean, this is their call, right? I think it's that time where maybe he might just fancy, maybe clubs I would decide to play his style, which is to actually absorb and of course rely on, attackers or individual brilliance to actually get goals. Defensive minded. Football has gone past that particular style of play. And that's why I like Jose Mourinho, who is never going to be attractive to top clubs again in Europe. And that's exactly the style of play Jose Peseiro brings. And if you follow the Egyptian league, if you follow how the North African play, they like to pride themselves in dictating play and of course attacking. So there's no way it's definitely going to give them that result. And if your team is always defending, then you most likely going to actually lose most of the game. Maybe when football is maybe back in the days where football is not as advanced as we have today tactically, perhaps people like Jose Mourinho, Jose Peseiro will really enjoy their style of play where they have to actually sit back and of course hope you make one mistake and then they hit you on the counter, get a goal and then seal it off. But not in today's era where tactics is way advanced. And of course, that's exactly what happened to him in Zamalek. I wish him good fortune going forward. Perhaps he gets the kind of club that suits his ideology. There are a couple of clubs that still play that way. Even in Serie A, if you watch Serie A today, you know that Serie A today is not even the Serie A we saw in the 2000s. Talk more of the late 90s where they like to go so deep, compact, and then hit you on the fast break. But football is way advanced. You don't even get to see a team. Even the man who will call around football in Europe today, Diego Simeone, look at the side this season. You know that it's really evolved from what we actually saw about 10 years ago. So I don't know, but perhaps it's definitely going to get it. A particular team, a club, a country will definitely fancy the way he plays and then give him another shot. Perhaps we're going to see him do better than he has done in his past 2 jobs. But I don't think with this style of approach or this style of play that he brings on the table, he's definitely not going to get a good side come for him again.
All right, Maiwa, what do you think? Jose Peseiro gets fired again.
Well, I'm not surprised. I was one of those that was clamoring that we don't need Jose Peseiro to take us forward the way he was playing for Nigeria and the way he set up Nigerian team. Remember in the Nations Cup, Ikechukwu was very spot on. We were ultra defensive, and that was the reason why a defender from Equatorial Guinea was the highest goal scorer in the last Nations Cup, while our own SOMMER, who was fine on all cylinder for his club before the tournament, did not score more than 1 goal. Which was because of the way Peseiro set up. And definitely, there is no top club, nowadays that wants to play boring football. Let me even give you a typical example. A team that even plays low block, the way they even set up, you don't know they play low block. They're even very competitive when it comes to fighting for the ball. But if you look at how Jose Peseiro set up his team, they are very ultra defensive. And this is a Zamalek side that goes all like they are one of the most offensive team in the Egyptian league. Rightfully so. They are they were very right to fire him. The fans have started they started complaining, they started protesting. The results have not been going their way. The results have been so horrible. They've been able to manage one win, I think, in about 6 games or thereabout. Even in the continental tournament, they've not been doing well. They've been knocked out. So and that's one of the reasons why Jose Pacero has to go. But on a more lighter note, I hope the owing situation, the owing cost from Nigeria has not affected him, because Zamalek does not owe people. I wonder why he left Nigeria being owed. He went to Zamalek and they started owing him another 3 months salary. Probably he needs to visit the Agbiji to wash off the cost of owing that he has picked up from Nigeria before leaving.
It's an African thing. When you are not doing well, they tend to want to owe your salary. So whether you're professionally or not, it's not okay. Mostly when the team's results started nosediving, they felt somehow giving him that money. So they hold him to his salary, maybe he will improve. But they see that it's not about the money. It's about the man's luck has run out as far as his coaching abilities is concerned. Anyway, we wish him all the best. Since you know the way to Rabiji, Pesero has links to Nigeria. Maybe we'll ask him to put call to Mayowa, who will give him some direction. At least you'll be his Google map to that direction, and maybe we'll do some washing.
because I was wondering why Iragbiji?
Yeah, he's familiar with that terrain, so that's where solutions come from as far as Mayowa is concerned. But anyway, let's talk about Trent Alexander-Arnold. His decision to leave Liverpool FC after 20 years has sparked reactions, with 2 Liverpool venues banning him. Pumpworth Liverpool and Corey's Electrical Store posted on social media about the ban, with them even displaying posters with Alexander-Arnold's photo and a banned caption. The defenders expected to transfer to Real Madrid has been widely reported, making him the 7th Englishman to play for the Spanish Giants. Alexander-Arnold's departure from Liverpool has been met with mixed reactions, with some fans appreciating the pettiness of the venue's responses. And Alexander-Arnold has been instrumental in Liverpool's successes over the years, helping the club win several major honours, including 2 Premier League titles and the Champions League. His departure marks the end of an era for the Reds. I think they should just let the man go. He has paid his dues. If he wants to leave, he has spent 20 years with the club. He has done everything he needs to do. He has won the Champions League. He's won 2 Premier League titles. What more is he going to be fighting for? I think he wants a new challenge, and he's still young. Let him take advantage of it.
Well, that's what you get when you play for a petty club side. It's sad that,
I think that one came out somehow.
Well, I mean, that's what it is, but
no.
they are not.
I think in the spirit of a Liverpool fan sitting down here, I think I will put it to you that was.
It's actually petty. Why will you ban him for? No,
that's an affront. You cannot just say that Liverpool is a petty club. No, I think
okay. That's what
I want to stand in that.
Okay. That's what you get when you play for a petty fan base.
No, definitely not.
Well,
definitely not. Manchester United will also react this way.
Ban a player for leaving.
Yeah.
No, United.
The club is
Liverpool. This is not the first time you are doing this. You bought Fernando Torres jersey.
This is not It's not the club banning.
That's what I'm saying. I said petty fan base.
No, petty fan base. No, petty fan base is different.
That's what I said.
These are just individual.
Petty fan base.
This is an individual decision.
It is still the same thing. Some fans appreciated what they did though.
If you are wait, calm down.
Jerry,
if you are working for me,
I
decided to, and somebody who's working for me because he left my company decided to ban me from coming to his house, that's not my fault.
But Jerry, you said when you were talking now, you said some fans appreciated the ban. True?
Yeah, some fans too were against it. Some fans also did not appreciate the ban.
So let's say like
and the ban doesn't change anything.
Let's say 2 over 10.
The thing is that these 2 places we are talking about, no, I think that's totally wrong to rate a fan base to be petty. Because
but you say some fans appreciate it.
Some fans appreciate it doesn't mean no, that's not majority. That's total deception. to say the majority of the fans accepted the ban. That's deception. That's generalizing. That's generalizing the statement. No, I will not accept a general statement of saying Liverpool fans are petty.
No. What's your position?
What's your position? That is totally unacceptable.
What's your position to this?
My position is this. That's an individual
What's
choice.
your position to it? Is it good or not?
The thing is that
what they did, is it good?
The thing is that Trent Alexander-Arnold could actually live all his life and never visit that store. And nothing will, it won't change anything. At least they didn't ban him from using the airport.
What's your position?
It's wrong.
It's wrong. You're one of the two I'm talking about.
No,
2/10.
It's not about 2/10. That's totally wrong. That ratio is totally wrong. Very, very wrong. Very, very wrong.
Well, I was about saying that.
If you have nothing more to say, please carry on. You see, this part is just it's just being petty anyway.
Well, the thing is that there are some fans that are petty. Over the weekend, I saw some fan burning the jersey, and this is not the first time this is happening with some section of Liverpool fans.
Good.
Remember when Liverpool?
That's
it's
what
not peculiar to Liverpool. All clubs.
That's what Liverpool do.
Man United have done it severally for players.
Where? Burnt a player jersey.
Mention
one.
Severally.
Mention one.
They did it to Cristiano Ronaldo when he
left. Yes. No.
What are you saying? They did it to Cristiano Ronaldo when he left Manchester United.
No.
Oga, calm down.
And United, they bombed just and they give him a hero welcome when he was coming.
It was when after many years.
Jerry, United.
Oga, they've already done it. Oga, don't worry. Calm down. They did it to Cristiano Ronaldo. They did a lot of things to Ronaldo when he left for Madrid.
Toxic fan base.
Yeah.
Even Tevez that betrayed Manchester United, that moved over to Man City, we didn't ban him, we didn't do anything like that. However, the thing is this: there are some fans there are some section of the fans that are very extreme, and I don't think it's right. The guy has served Liverpool very well for over 20 years. There is nothing more to achieve with Liverpool. To be honest with you, he has won everything that needs to be won. Real Madrid is a bigger club than Liverpool in Europe. And he's going to Spain to conquer Spain, to help Real Madrid to conquer Spain. I think they should let him go. They should even give him, a hero sent forth. He has been, a great ambassador for Liverpool. It's just unfortunate that some fans, they are very fanatical, and the moment you leave, it means they want to burn the bridge. And just for me, I'll just take it with a pinch of salt. It happens all like football, but to be honest with you, I think the location banning Alexander-Arnold, they just want to make the news, and probably as they say in media, any publicity is publicity, whether good or bad. People are beginning to talk about them. I think that's what they want to achieve, and they've been able to achieve that. But it doesn't make any do that to somebody that has served the club diligently.
And the funny thing is, this fan base, these Liverpool fans, they don't even watch match. They'll back the field and start singing their song. If you see themselves, you know that these guys are very, very toxic. And even Jerry here, the way he is sometimes you see, you wonder. Well, it's so sad. Well,
now you are coming out.
They're not used to, they're not used to having superstar in their team. So when one leaves, it becomes a problem. How many Ballon d'Or?
You are now sounding.
Well, that's true.
You are now sounding like a broken record.
No, it is.
You know why you are saying like a broken record?
How?
I think that word that came out of your mouth shows that you are not a petty analyst. Because one, you are saying that Liverpool is not used to seeing superstars.
Yes.
Please remind me what makes a player a superstar.
That's what I'm saying now.
Now if a club is not used to playing superstars, please remind me.
You're not used to having superstars.
Okay, name the players that are superstars in Manchester United, for instance.
No, for now, United don't have a superstar now. No.
So Maiwa, how does that? Wait, Kamina, wait. This is honest. Somebody does not have superstar in his club side. How will he know a club that will recognize superstars?
Okay, so
you can't give what you don't have.
No, Jerry, wait.
How will you be able to decipher a club that understand what a superstar have? Because if you don't have, you don't understand it. So I understand.
Let me explain.
I understand your lack.
Let me tell you now.
When you lack something.
Let me tell you what it means to have.
When you lack something, you will not be able to identify those who have it.
Jerry,
So I forgive you.
Let me explain
I forgive you for that blasphemous
Wait,
statement.
let me explain something.
I forgive you.
Before
Yes.
the arrival of Klopp,
Yeah.
before the arrival of Klopp,
Yeah.
the only superstar the Liverpool team have seen in the last 30 years was Steven Gerrard. No other superstar. Mention one. Yes.
That's an insult to Luis Suarez. It's an insult.
No,
Well, there was
to
a
Fernando
Suarez.
Torres.
There was a Fernando
That's
Torres.
an insult.
No.
That's an
Only-
insult.
The Sammy Ifield.
Wait.
An insult.
Wait.
No, that's total insult.
Let's have a conversation.
What are you saying?
Let's have a conversation.
Superstar. What are you saying?
Gerrard.
What are you saying?
Gerrard, Suarez.
No,
Wait,
don't go
wait,
back.
no, wait.
I will not allow you.
No,
No,
okay,
you
no.
will not. You will not go back on this one. This one, you stand on status quo.
Wait.
Only escape.
Gerrard.
Maiwa, he has already landed, and
Yes.
I've already given him back.
Wait,
you have just insulted those players.
Wait.
And first, before you say anything, you have to apologize to those players.
Okay. Suarez and Alonso was the number of time they spent. Yes, they are actually good players. But as at when? Yes.
Oh my.
Wait. When he was leaving,
When he left Liverpool, which club did he go to?
he went to Real Madrid. Yes. Before he
Real Madrid.
Wait.
Wait. When Real Madrid want to sign you, why do they?
No, sir.
Wait.
Madrid was, as at the time Alonso was going to Madrid, they will sign the players who are a superstar.
Let me ask you. Is Enrique?
You are talking to someone who has been a fan of Liverpool. Calm down, wait.
Let's talk.
You are talking to someone who has been a fan of Liverpool since 2001. I did not start being a Liverpool fan today.
Wow.
And you are talking to a floor member because
let's talk about
they know that it's not like you are a Twitter handle of Liverpool.
Okay, let's talk about Alonso.
So anything about the club side, I know. So
when did he leave?
This thing you are saying.
When did he leave?
This thing you are saying. You are talking like a Man United fan.
You know, as at that point, Alonso was not a superstar. You know.
Alonso was a superstar. What about Suarez? Suarez too.
No.
Because
hold on.
Because
Fernando Torres.
Yeah,
how many years did he spend in Liverpool? Can be a legend.
only one season, for instance. That doesn't make him a superstar at Liverpool.
Okay.
Is that what you are saying?
Okay, wait. Let's. Superstar for Liverpool. We can have.
You understand that it's deflecting. You understand that?
Yes, I said you're not used to seeing a superstar. My definition of the word superstar was superstar for the world, not a Liverpool superstar.
No, you said a club side like Liverpool does not understand what it means to see a superstar.
It's not used to seeing a superstar.
It's not used to see a superstar. So Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think this guy
I'm not saying you don't have
memory
now.
issues.
There's a Salah. There's a Salah.
So why were you asking me for?
That's what I'm saying. That
Why were you asking?
You're not used to. That's why anytime you're.
How will you not be used to when you have Salah, Van Dijk in your team?
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe English is the problem here. I don't. What is English the problem here? I don't know.
We can agree now.
I don't know. How else will you be used to superstars when you have those players in your team?
Jerry.
And Chelle Alexander is leaving. Explain to me because I'm confused.
Okay, but we can both agree now
Yes.
that at least we sorted out the Alonso issue. That it was
No,
not.
you
Wait now. Hold
no.
on.
You know what?
Don't deflect, though.
You are the one deflecting. The thing is that word you said you are not apologizing.
Alonso was not a superstar when he was leaving Liverpool.
Forget about Alonso now.
Okay, we agreed. Let's agree first.
But what you said, Steven Gerrard is the last superstar Liverpool stars and players have seen.
Superstar in terms of general superstar, not the Liverpool superstar. That's what I meant.
God.
Yes, and before the arrival of club, that's what I said now.
Before the arrival
yes,
of
club.
club.
Yes, I said it now. Didn't you hear me? I mean,
before the arrival of
that's
club.
That's what I said.
So Fernando Torres was not a world star. When it was at Liverpool.
There's a difference between a player being in good form and being a superstar. You are confusing a one season form. Yes, now. What did he do in the second season for Liverpool?
But Fernando Torres spent 4 years.
Wait.
I'm confused. I'm confused.
Maiwa.
Yeah.
You saw Fernando Torres. You saw Fernando Torres in Liverpool, right?
Yeah. For 4 years.
Yeah, you saw him in Liverpool 4 years, right?
Yes, for 4 years.
How many golden boots in 4 years?
Won once. I think he won once. I think he won one golden boot.
So that's the player you call a superstar compared to Harry Kane, who was at Tottenham and he was taking the league by storm with a team that is not even as good as that Liverpool team at that point. And you call
No, but hold on. But it is this. while at Liverpool, he won the 2021.
He said what? He won the what?
He was part of team. He was part of the team that won the Euro. The same team that won the World Cup.
He was on the bench in the World Cup. Don't forget, he was playing. He was playing behind Fabregas on the bench. Fabregas was not even a regular number 9.
But
he was playing on the bench in Euros. Come on, man. You got that person a superstar. Come on.
Hold on. But the first team with the Europa. The second one at the World Cup, you know, he was even a doubt for the one, but he managed to make David Villa and the rest of them were ahead of him. However, he was very enough for Liverpool. He didn't win the gold for 4 years. You cannot say he's not a superstar. He was.
Maiwa, as at the peak of,
that was the.
See, well, maybe because maybe.
Yeah, you know what? I don't want to go into this argument. Let's talk about the Champions League. For someone who doesn't understand what superstars are, because he doesn't have one in his club.
Give me.
So I will not expect. Wait, you know what?
Superstar.
I will not expect your definition.
No, give me your definition.
No, the thing is that your definition will no longer hold waters because you don't understand what it means.
Okay, give me your definition.
It's simple.
Give me your definition.
I've already told you.
Tell me, give me your definition of a superstar.
I will not waste my saliva in doing that with you because you have a club side that does not have superstars.
Okay,
so
no problem.
You don't understand what the superstar means. You don't appreciate what the superstar is. If you can come to this studio and tell me that Fernando Torres was not a superstar with Liverpool in the Premier League,
what?
I think my argument will no longer make sense to you. So there's no need. Because if you can tell me that that means you will tell me that Coutinho was one season wonder. That is why Barcelona paid £145 million to get him. He was not a superstar. Fine. Fernando Torres was bought for £50 million because he's just an ordinary player. Chelsea decided to spend £50 million to sign him.
Caro was bought
35 million and 50 million. Is it the same thing?
35 million wasn't it the Premier League record at the point?
For a British player.
Wasn't it the Premier League?
That was a British player. British players were not moving for big money at that then.
So if you see
what are you saying now?
So at that point, 35 million.
What are you saying now?
What are you saying? 35 million for a British player at that point doesn't know is a record in England.
So Caro was a superstar then.
That's your definition. Using money as a yardstick now.
Caro,
it's your definition of.
No. Caro and Fernando Torres are miles apart. Nigga.
See, you are using money. That's why I brought the same money. 35 million for
35 million and 50 million pounds are not mates.
Jerry, for a British player. For a British player, as at that point, it was a big deal. You saw it. It was everywhere. Liverpool went for him, but you could not afford him at the point.
You are arguing making a different argument.
You're talking about money here. Money does not make you a superstar. Sometimes the biggest of players are not bought with the biggest of money.
Each of the players have been bought with big money that are not superstars. For 50 million pounds, which players was spent 50 million pounds during that time Fernando Torres left Liverpool to Chelsea? Name one superstar. Name one ordinary player that was signed with 50 million pounds as at that time. Name one. If you name one here, I will doff my hat. I will prostrate for you in this studio, and I will allow you to take over. Yes. Name one player. Name one player that is an ordinary player that was bought for 50 million pounds as at the time Fernando Torres left Liverpool for Chelsea. Name one.
Jerry.
I'm waiting.
Jerry.
I give you 2 minutes.
Wait now, are you aware? Wait now, are you aware that even as at that point, Caro moved? There was no British player that moved close.
You have not answered my question.
It's the same thing now.
30
You're talking about money.
30 seconds gone.
Chelsea was just crazy about Fernando Torres. That's why they bought it.
45 seconds gone.
Okay, what did he do in Chelsea?
1 minute gone.
See. Look at what did he do in Chelsea? It was a big flop for 50 million.
1 minute 10 seconds gone.
Okay, don't worry now.
1 minute 20 seconds gone. You have just wasted 2 minutes of my time waiting for you.
To do what?
But anyway, let's talk about the Champions League. He has just wasted 2 minutes of our time. But sorry to our viewers. Inter Milan are through to the final of the Champions League. Mayowa.
Yes.
It's an interesting one for Inter Milan. They gave a good fight, and eventually they made it to the final. You will say well deserved for Inter Milan.
Yeah, well, and I want to share the opinion of Thierry Henry. He was regards football being boring these days, and the way and Ansu Flick played yesterday, ball. Yes, you don't have to play the typical low block. Inter Milan played the low block. They were still very active for the ball. In that particular game yesterday, I that the high line of Barca them in trouble. Another mistake the Ansu Flick made, why institute Martinez was coordinating the was substituted, the defense collapsed, there was no coordination. That's the reason. To Inter, they've been able to put team is unbeatable, and it was also very fantastic. He was just to get them to the final. It's going to be probably versus maybe an Arsenal if they can do it this night or later in May. Milan.
All right, let's talk about Arsenal. It's Judgment Day for Arsenal. They take on PSG tonight. And Arsenal's Declan Rice insisted on Tuesday that the Gunners are confident they can deliver something special by overturning a first leg 1-0 deficit when they face PSG. For me, everything is pointing towards PSG being in the final, except Arsenal do something exceptional, because at the Parc des Princes, the likes of Douy, Karaskila, Dembele is back. That squad can eat any team alive on their day, and they have the ever-experienced Luis Enrique as their coach.
Well, Jerry, going by the first leg, if you saw that game, you know that Arsenal would have won that game. That first leg. PSG got the first goal. In the first 25 minutes, Arsenal looked very shaky and unsettled. From that 30-minute mark, Arsenal, got back into the game and started mounting pressure. And from that point on, Arsenal was very, very much into that game. In fact, it was Donnarumma who was the man of the match because he made some couple of brilliant saves. It tells you how much Arsenal would have won that game. When your goalkeeper is the man of the match, it tells you that you face a lot of pressure. If Arsenal go into that second leg with a more stable backline, because Partey will be there shielding the defense line, trust me, Arsenal pick up that game from where they left it off in the first leg. There's no way Arsenal is not going to win that game. That PSG side have shown that if you hit them, if you score them one, they are quite very shaky. And we saw that particular the vulnerable side of that PSG side against Aston Villa. If Arsenal become very, very careful in their defense backline, of course they definitely will be because of Thomas Partey. And going forward, utilize their chances, Arsenal is going to win that game. And I'm putting my money on Arsenal to actually win this game tonight.
All right, I think you have a lot of money. So anyway, we'll help you. Hey, just bring that money and let's use it to flex.
If Arsenal win that game, when Arsenal win that game, what happens tomorrow?
Anyway, time really fast spent. If Arsenal win, I think it will be an interesting one. They will still not win the cup anyway.
They will win it.
Anyway, my wife, it's really a pleasure having you on the show this lovely evening. And of course, big thanks to you and as well as Ike Chukwu. And not leaving out the guys behind the studio, talking about Alex, Victor, as well as Jeremiah Silva. And of course, talking about Ike Chukwu, who's an Arsenal fan. Definitely would not like the fact that I'm not really putting my money on Arsenal. But you can all put your money. Put your money where your mouth is. We'll come tomorrow and testify. And of course, up next is Political Lens with Chukwuma Okoro. My name is Jerry. I saying, if not 20 no turn, do it the sport way.